listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level. Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
It's Friday night and I am pumped up. I am so psyched because I get to see my girlfriend this evening. It's a happy hour. It's the variety show. Lori Mendelsohn's in the house. It's Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, the variety show. We are live streaming on Business Talk Radio as always and social media. I'm your host and executive producer, and it's my 5th show today. Woohoo! We've had some amazing guests, and we have another amazing guest with us today, Roberta. We're going to get to hear all about her. I'm your host and executive producer. I am a certified life, career, yoga, and meditation coach. Ooh, and I've got a friend with me today. Let's check it out. Who is it? Who is it? Who? It's my friend, the Owl. And the Owl's going to be with us for most of the show. Hello. Okay, let's bring Lori out. Lori Mendelsohn. He's always looking over my shoulder. Who do you have with you today?
Hold on a minute here. Let me show you the illustrious Zinc, as usual. Hello.
How's it going?
Oh, we are so
Who
happy.
Is that? Who is it? All right. So it's Friday night.
It is.
What's going on with you, my friend?
It's our date night, my friend. Well, other than spending the next hour with you, which I love doing every week, I'm going out for fish fry with a girlfriend, and Roberta, who is our guest, is going to completely understand what I'm talking about. So, yeah.
Nice. I see her smiling backstage. That's so cool. All right, good. So before we bring her out, and I want to understand how you guys know each other, let's hear about you and what you're doing. I want to hear about what's going on with your business. I want to hear what's going on with Clubhouse. Give me the dirt.
Okay, so the dirt is things are popping up. People are ready to get out there, ready to meet people, and I can help them because I'm a dating coach and a matchmaker. So clients are coming out of the woodwork. They're just tired of being at home. They're ready to get set and meet someone. So I do dating coaching and matchmaking through my business, Smart Funny Single, which is smartfunnysingle.com. I've added 2 more shows to my lineup in Clubhouse. One is now every Thursday night, and it's hosted in the Midlife Room, which is for women over 50. And we have a panel of dating experts, as well as other people who are over 50, some really great speakers. And last night we had our first room, and we had about 60 people in the room, and we had a lot of men come too, which was phenomenal because usually men don't come to these, dating type things. They really don't want to talk about. So we got some great insight. So I have my show every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I hope that everyone can join us. So yeah, that's what's going on with Clubhouse. Just rocking it. Yeah. And you are too, Dr. Jacalyn.
Guess what? You are so hot that I had to put my shades on because you're on fire over there. What's going on over there?
Dr. Jacalyn, I think because this is your 5th show today, I think you're getting just a little loopy, if you don't mind my saying.
No, I agree. All right, so tell us about Roberta. How do you 2 know each other, and what's she going to share with us on the variety show today?
I know nothing about this woman, Dr. Jacalyn. No. I'll tell you how I know this amazing woman. I used to own a business called Wisconsin Pet Care, which was a dog walking and pet sitting service. And Roberta was one of my clients, and she was one of the rare people who, when we met, we kind of had a girl crush on each other. And we've become friends, and we have remained friends. And I'm actually going to her home in Maine this summer. I can't wait. That's my vacation for the year. And Roberta has such a fascinating story, a great past. She is an educator. She is a professor. She is an academic. She is She is a political activist. She is an archaeologist. She is an ecologist. Wait till you hear this line, Dr. Jacalyn. I thought about it this morning in the shower. This woman has more facets to her than a diamond. So I'm so excited about introducing her.
I love that. Wow. Let's bring her out. Here's Roberta from Maine. Hello.
Yes. Roberta Boczkiewicz,
Wow.
and I call her Roberta Bolshevik. We have an inside joke going on.
Okay.
She's part of the revolution.
So, Roberta, you've got a lot of accomplishments. You are quite an incredible person. Thank you for being on our program.
Oh my goodness. Well, actually, I'm honored to be on your program. Thank you both for having me. This is incredible. But wait, I have someone with me too. This is a Peruvian dog.
Oh,
not really, but it's a statue of a Peruvian dog.
Oh.
So that's cool. It's a Moche statue. So
it's beautiful, beautiful.
I don't
by
have
the way,
any real animals.
We were talking before the show started about your fabulous hair. Do tell, what is the secret to having magnificent, long, thick hair like that?
Oh, COVID. Yeah, COVID. Totally.
Okay.
I haven't had my hair cut since February of 19.
Wow.
And so it was like here, and it just grew and grew. But no, I straightened it today just to be fun. So
yeah,
it looks great. I've paid a fortune in extensions, so I really admire the fact that you have your own. You don't have to have it screwed in or plugged on or you know, they have all kinds of extensions where, you know, you feel like Herman Munster must have felt with those bolts. They're all over your head.
And speaking of archaeology,
oh my goodness.
Oh, Roberta, why don't you tell us about the early days in your life, because you're not from around here. Why don't you tell everyone where you're from, where you were born and raised and moved, and your whole journey?
Yeah, I'm going to spotlight you. Let's hear it.
Okay, I am from the forgotten 50th state. I'm from New Mexico, and grew up doing all kinds of crazy things with my dad, spelunking and going into copper mines and looking for rocks, and we polished stones, and we made jewelry, and we did sand paintings, and we just did all kinds of stuff because he really loved the culture of New Mexico, and that's where I'm from.
I haven't been to New Mexico. Have you, Laura?
Yes, I love it. Oh, it's heavenly, and it's very spiritual as well. Did you see Breaking Bad, Dr. Jacalyn?
It is.
Yes, I watched the whole series. So that's it. I forgot. That's where it takes place. I watched the whole series, all 7 seasons, 6 seasons. I watched it at least twice, every show.
Yeah. The sky is amazing. The mountains are amazing. It's very mystical, don't you think, Roberta?
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, and the food to die for.
My favorite part, always. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm all about food. Yes.
Well, that's important though when you think about it. You want to go someplace where the food is something that you really enjoy. So it sounds like New Mexico should be on the list.
I think the food from New Mexico is just my food traditions, and I became very interested in people's foods traditions, and that's why when I got into anthropology and archaeology, I started studying people's food ways, and then I started studying animal bones from archaeological sites. So I'm a zooarchaeologist, and then I got even more specific and started studying specific kinds of fish bone. And so most of my work was in Peru, where I studied what kind of fish people were eating on the coast of Peru, anywhere from 1800 BCE to 800 years ago. So.
That's fascinating. I've never met anyone in your field.
I hadn't either. That's why I thought she would be such a great guest. I mean, how many archaeologists do you run into?
Well, we aren't like Jones, unfortunately. No. And my husband does lament that I do not wear the cool boots like the girl in the Mummy movies, but it's still good. It's good work.
So, Roberta, for people out there who may not know what an archaeologist is or does, can you share that with us?
Sure. So it's really not like Indiana Jones. So it's not all about stealing things from caves. It's about studying a certain region and trying to figure out what was going on there in the past and why is that important to us now. So we study how civilizations built economies, how they had advancing technology. For instance, in my field, I studied all kinds of fishing technology. By looking at the fish, I could figure out, well, which fish were they catching via net? Which fish were they catching with a pole from the shore? Which fish did they need a boat to go out and get? And how far could that boat go? And how many fish could that boat hold? And things like that. So we want to find out about the lives of people in the past, because it really does matter to our lives now, even though we often choose not to think so.
So basically, it sounds like what you're saying is that what's happened in the past has an influence or impact on what's going on today and what will happen in the future.
Exactly. And a lot of archaeologists who've worked in Central America have studied things like, for a long time, nobody understood what happened to the Maya civilization. It just seemed to disappear. Well, it disappeared because of years and years of extreme drought that led to famine. And so those people they sort of left their civilization and melded back into the jungle into smaller groups where they could feed them, survive. And it's important for us to take all of these climatological issues to heart, because they really will affect what's going to happen to humanity in the future.
That's fascinating, especially as I shared. I don't know if I shared this on the show, but I had a guest on who is focused on helping us clean up the environment and doing that, in the fashion industry. Think about all the waste that there is with all the clothes that go into landfills, or we just keep buying and buying and buying. And so all of that, I learned even when we wash our clothes in the washing machine, that depending on what your item is made out of, that it breaks down. And so plastic particles go into the water system that affects the fish and the work that people like you have done or doing. Because we eat fish that have eaten plastic.
So what does he suggest or she suggest that we do to
not
stop
good for
that?
us, no.
Become nudists.
So he is he's an entrepreneur, and he's got a circular business model. So what comes from the ground, what comes from the earth, actually could go back, and there's no plastic in there. So there's a special on Netflix. I don't remember the name of it, but it's all about all the plastic that's in the oceans. And it's all piled up. I don't know if either of you, Roberta, have you happened to see that Netflix special?
Yes. I didn't see the Netflix special, but I know about the plastics. And I actually have a friend whose son in the Netherlands works for a company that they go around and try to collect up that plastic.
Yeah, that's a really admirable thing to do. Laura, we need to take a break. So before we do, I want you to tell us something about Roberta that she won't tell us when we come back. How does that sound?
Well, I don't want to break my friendship trust with her.
Well, nothing like that. Come on. Come on. This isn't like, just something fun. Something fun she might not tell us. When we come back from the break.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so I'm going to play a clip for one of our sponsors. And I really like to play this clip because I think it's important to get the message out. The company is Listening to Smile, and they serve two purposes. The first is that they produce and offer frequency mindful music that has health healing benefits. And the second is that they educate people that when you are in a live forum, when you're in a public forum, whether you're a business owner and you're playing music, you're streaming music from your device, maybe it's from Spotify, Pandora, Apple, etc. If you don't have a commercial license, you can be fined for copyright violations. So I'm just going to read this little clip here, and then we're going to play their sponsorship. So, do you understand copyright laws? Did you know that it's illegal and a violation of copyright laws to play CDs, iPods, Spotify, Pandora, and other streaming services for your yoga classes, workshops, retreats, private sessions, and live events if you do not obtain proper music licensing? So they offer music that is licensed, and it's also frequency-based music. So it's good for you personally, and it's good for you professionally. So let's take a look at their clip.
The music, services, and programs that we offer at Listening to Smile are based off of scientific studies and research, along with our own personal experiences and testimonials from our clients and our affiliates that we work with worldwide. My own personal journey began in around 2010, and I tried to find relief from a chronic illness that I was diagnosed with. And the traditional ways of healing, they tried to fit me in this box, and that didn't work for me for so many reasons. And this led me to a self-discovery that I never expected to be so life-changing. Healing is multifaceted. It requires us to really look at our whole selves and to get really honest about what we see. I started to see movement towards recovery when I started to integrate yoga into my life daily. When I started to incorporate the music into all aspects of my life, including my yoga practice, my healing completely accelerated. And listening to Smile's music helped me to open my consciousness. I was able to open my eyes to new perspectives and make changes that I needed to make in order to recover. The most noticeable difference that I saw right away, like immediately after listening to my first frequency track, was how much my anxiety stopped, completely stopped. There was such a relief. My mind was actually quiet for the first time in so many years. I felt safe. I felt this comfort and this peace immediately. I continued to listen daily, and I found that amazing things were happening inside of me. I felt calmer, I felt happier, I felt like I was in this little bubble of peace. Physically, I started to see the changes happening. I started to see the things happening in my body that needed to happen for me to heal from my illness. I felt empowered, I felt hopeful, and something that I hadn't felt in years. This is why we at Listening to Smile integrate yoga and Listening to Smile music together. We see such a huge benefit from integrating the music into other modalities of healing. It accelerates these modalities, it steps them up to another level because it works on the brainwave states and the neural pathways in the brain. This is something that is not very easy for us to do alone at home, but the Listening to Smile music makes that possible. This is where real change happens. This is where the body and the mind sync up and work towards health of the being as a whole. That is true health. And Listening to Smile frequency music will get you there.
That was Listening to Smile. Ian Morris and Dana Cato are the founders. They actually reached out to me, and now we've got a relationship. We're an affiliate. So if you want to go there and use code RWDJ, what does it stand for? Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. You get a significant discount. So, all right, we're here with my co-host, Lori Mendelsohn. This is The Variety Show, and we've got our guest, Roberta, joining us from Maine. And we were talking about the fact that Anthropology is not Indiana Jones. Which is one of my favorite movies, by the way.
How do top that, Dr. Jacalyn? So I thought of a couple of things that I would like to share that I know and love about Roberta. So
Beautiful.
Roberta is an avid animal rescuer. She would never buy a dog. She has the biggest animal heart of anyone I know. She doesn't care what they look like, the shape that they're in. If they need a home, she's the one who's going to take them. But she prefers large dogs. And the second thing is she is the most generous person who I know. And I'll share a story with you. When I adopted Zinc, who you saw at the beginning of the show, Zinc had been not abused, but neglected. He was one of 6 dogs and his owner had cancer. So he didn't have regular checkups and so on. And when I rescued him, there was a lot that was wrong with him. And they found that he had cancer in his mouth. And the cancer, he had a 1 in 10 chance of living.
Oh.
And the cost of getting the cancer treatment was extensive. And I just put a fundraiser on Facebook, and Roberta and her husband, Bruce, were the largest donor. And Roberta, I will never forget that, what you did for us. So that's what I love about this woman.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, that's her.
Can you hear us, Roberta? Oh, there.
Wow, thank you, Lori.
Well, it's true, Roberta. You know that.
Thank you for sharing that. That's why I wanted to, because people won't always say things about themselves. We need other people to share. And I can tell she's a kind and beautiful person. So thank you for letting us in on that.
Yes. So Roberta, I'd love to ask you, before you became an archaeologist, you were a teacher. You were a teacher in, if I remember, was it Dallas, the Dallas area when you were married to your first husband? What grades did you teach and how long were you teaching?
Before I was an archaeologist, and I want to apologize if there's a lag. We are having a Noreaster here in Maine. It's lovely, 30 mile an hour wind, 60 mile an hour gust. So I do apologize. But before I started my career in education as a special ed teacher, I taught children with learning disabilities. And at that time, they also had a title of behavior disorders. I don't think they use that anymore. But I taught in Albuquerque, and then I taught in Austin, Texas for several years. And eventually I left special ed, and I had a 5th grade classroom for about 4 years. And that was just an absolute treat. Those kids were amazing, and their parents were amazing, and had a really good time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to go back to what you said in the beginning. You're having a Noreaster there?
Roberta, Dr. Jacalyn asked if you're having a Noreaster there. You said like 60 mile an hour winds. Is that what's going on?
Oh, yeah. It's really a crazy storm. And so I really apologize for the lag, because I know there's a lag. And sometimes I can't quite hear you, but it's going good so far.
Okay. As long as the house doesn't blow up.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you need to go, we'll understand. Just stay safe, please.
Oh my God, Roberta, it's not snowing there, is it?
If the house blows down, you have nowhere to stay in August.
No, well, that's not going to happen. I'll stay at the camp.
No.
Yeah. So, I being interested in dating, Roberta, if you wouldn't mind sharing your beautiful story of the night that you met Bruce, I that's one of those stories that I could just listen to every single day. Would you mind sharing that? It's such a beautiful story.
I'd love to hear it.
About how I met my husband? It's
Yes.
kind of embarrassing, really. I have a wonderful friend who sings. Actually, she sings professionally, but every now and again we would go out and she would sing karaoke, and I was sort of her, just extra person. And we were out to sing karaoke one night, and in Dallas, and she saw my husband, who was not my husband, across the hall or across the way. And she tapped me on the shoulder and she said, "There he is. That's the man you're going to marry." And I said, "You have lost your mind." And she waved, and he came over and started talking to me. Of course, I'm in Dallas. And I said, "Well, what part of Dallas do you live in?" And he said, "Milwaukee." And I, being incredibly good at geography, said, "That is not in Texas." So I turned to walk away, and he said, "Well, wait, you never know what can happen." And he was right, because we will celebrate our 20th wedding anniversary in May. So,
wow. That's beautiful. So basically you didn't even live in the same state and you ended up together? Yes, I think the answer is yes. Definitely yes.
We are like a good poster couple for long distance dating, because we both had we were both divorced. We both had children from our previous marriages. We could only see each other on the weekends when we didn't have children. So he would fly to Dallas, or I would fly to Milwaukee once or twice a month. And we dated that way. And
how long did that go on where you
phone
were doing the long distance dating?
all the time? Of course, this was pre Zoom or Skype or anything. We figured it out really quickly. So we got married 9 months after we met.
Wow. That's fast for a long distance relationship, and only seeing each other twice a month. I guess, Roberta, I always want to know, when you arrived in Milwaukee, how you felt coming from Dallas.
When I got to Milwaukee, wow, that was culture shock. But when I got to Milwaukee, because he and I talked on the phone every night, we talked about everything, right? Nothing was off the table. We talked about spiritual issues. We talked about ideas and philosophies. But when I moved to Dallas, we went out with his friends one night, and we went pizza. And one of his girlfriends turned to me and said, "Well, what does Bruce like on his pizza?" I said, "I have no idea." No.
But yeah, you've been together 20 years. That's incredible. It's a beautiful story.
It's like the Brady Bunch too. The kids, all the kids that they have.
Very good.
Roberta, could you tell us about your most favorite archaeological dig?
Oh, sure. Gosh, there are so many good ones. My favorite dig was I spent 3 summers in Spain with a team from the University of Barcelona, and we were digging around this lake that was 1 million years old. Or it had been a lake 1 million years ago. And there was one day when I found hippo bones, and I spent days and days and days uncovering these beautiful hippopotamus bones. And when we went to pick them up, they all fell apart and crumbled into dust in our hands. But that was one of my favorite times, because there was such camaraderie, and we all had such a great time. And we would sit around and we would look at everything we found and go through it. But I had the the luck to work in England once and found a Roman brooch that Romans had used to keep his cape together. That was quite a find. And in Peru, mostly, I taught other upcoming students about archaeology, and we work there. The greatest thing, though, about Peru was the group I worked with was out of the University of North Carolina and the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. And they have a nonprofit called MOCHE, M-O-C-H-E. And what they do is they go in, they find a place that they're going to do some excavation, and they talk to the community and they find out, what can we do for you as Americans coming in? Do you need a new school building? Do you need new bathroom facilities? What do you need? And then the next year or the next 3 or 4 summers, they bring down nurses or contractors or whatever they need to help that community, sort of as payback for allowing us to come in and excavate their archaeological finds.
Wow, that sounds fascinating, especially about the brooch. So I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
fun.
I bet it is. Roberta, how many people go into archaeology now? And is there still a need?
Right. Yeah, that was a really good one.
Roberta, did you hear the question of how many people are going into archaeology now?
Oh. It's amazing that what I love best is that there are so many women going into the field. Many women are going into the field, and it's time. It's been a male-dominated field for a very long time, and there are some brilliant women out there who are doing some incredible work. I don't know exactly how many people are going in. I feel like it's less and less because it's one of those difficult academic pathways where you really need a PhD if you're going to teach and you're going to be able to pay for your way. And I think that scares a lot of people away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about, if that's still an area that people are migrating to, that they want to do work in that field, but it seems like it's important work. Okay. I guess we'll go to commercial break.
I'm really glad that we're getting into it, because I think women bring such a good perspective.
Yes, that's for sure. We're going to take a break and hear from 2 authors. And the first one is Carson Marketing, and it's The First Tooth Fairy. And that's Zane Carson Carruth. And the second is Diane Floyd Boehm. And I think it's important to mention that these books they're in the category of children's books, but children's books are really for everyone, because there's always layering in the book, as my friend Diane says, and there's always a message to be learned. So let's take a look at these 2 clips and then we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Carruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating more memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Abella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book, Abella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Abella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Story Garden. Your host, Diane Boehm. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Diane Floyd Boehm tells wonderful stories that warm the heart, spark the imagination, and unite people and families across generations. For children, Diane's Harry the Camel connects with all of us who've ever wondered how different our lives might have been if only we'd been born something better, like a wonderful horse instead of an ordinary camel. In the end, we all learn along with Harry that there's nothing better than just being yourself. Diane's Little Girl in the Moon looks down on earthbound children and wonders if they know she's just like them. A story of love, home, and the bond between mother and daughter, its powerful theme that we're each of us different yet all of us the same plants a seed in children that promises to blossom within a loving and trusting grown-up. Diane's new biography, Rise, recounts the experiences of her grandmother, Ruby, to reveal the hidden strength of the human spirit. Ruby's story inspires all of us to become the best versions of ourselves. You'll find all of Diane's delightful books and much more at DianeFloydBoehm.com. Visit DianeFloydBoehm.com. That's DianeFloydBoehm.com.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
That's a big thank you to our sponsors, Diane Floyd Boehm and Zane Carson Caruth. We really appreciate you. So here we are on the variety show. It's Friday nights, and with my girlfriend, it's happy hour time with Lori Mendelsohn, and she's brought a wonderful guest with us, Roberta. So, Lori, when you think about when you first met Roberta and till today, how has she changed, if she has?
I think she's gotten sweeter, if that was at all possible. I mean, this is one of those unique women that is selfless and will do anything for you. She's one of my few friends that because I have to have surgery every 6 months, she's the one who takes me and we leave at 5:30 in the morning. She's that friend. I mean, she's just an exceptional human being. You know, she doesn't live in the Milwaukee area anymore, unfortunately, but she is that friend who would have done anything for me and probably still would, you know, if I called her and I said, I'm in the hospital, can you fly out? She'd get in her car and drive. She'd throw her pup in the back seat and she would drive out. So that's she's just a spectacular human being. We could all really take a page out of her playbook and be better people.
Thank you.
I'm lucky she's my friend.
That's a beautiful share. Thank you for bringing her to the program today.
Yes, my pleasure.
Roberta, how are you doing? I think the service is a little bit better now. Maybe not.
I think so. Hopefully, right? Thank you both for being the wonderful, amazing women that you are, and just doing this show and letting me come on and just talk with you. This was such a blast. I had such a good time just having girl time.
Thank you. We like to make a nice, safe environment, right, Lori? Like we're very welcoming, and we want to support our guests and whatever is important to the guests, whether it's your career, charitable work, or just women empowering women.
Yeah.
And we've had men on too. We've had Lori was on, Lori Rifkin. He was a great guest.
Yeah. He's something, that Lori Rifkin, isn't he?
Yeah, we just interviewed him on the Underdog show. He's he's really funny. He said you guys are putting that event together. Is that still going on?
Yeah, it's still going on. Sadly, we only have one person who signed up, so we may have to cancel it. So
you want to talk about it a little?
Yeah, it is called Lunch with Lori and Lori. We're talking about being single and how hard it is now to find someone and to share your dating story. So if people want to go to my LinkedIn, my name is Lori Mendelsohn, and you can see it in the banner, but I'll spell it. It's LoriMendelsohn. And you can go to my LinkedIn page and all the information is there. It's Lunch with Lori this coming Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time.
So Lori, what can people expect if they sign up?
Well, it's going to be, we're going to be diving deep into some personal questions. Now, I mean, they're not, tell us about the worst day of your life. We're not going to be doing that. We're going to be talking about challenges and how hard it is to date during COVID. Some tips, giving out some tips, where to meet people, what to say, just how to be yourself on a date. So that's what we're going to be doing. So I hope that we can get a little more traction. So thank you for allowing me to talk about it.
Sure. And Lunch with Lori is something that I signed up for, not this specific event. I signed up, I think, in May. And yeah. Lori is like the king of networking. By the way, it's Lorry, Lori Rifkin. And he sent me the questions you have to answer, I think, 10 questions to be on the show. Yeah. And one of the questions was, your most embarrassing moment. I gave it to him. And he reached out to me right afterwards. And he's like, I knew I could count on you to be on that.
I really don't think I'd want to discuss my most embarrassing moment. So good for you, Dr. Jacalyn.
Yeah, I'll be discussing it with whomever and whenever. So
yeah. Well, it'll be no holds barred. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Lori, as we get ready to wrap up the show, I want to know where we can find you again. And I want to know if we want to hire you for as a dating coach. Please give us all the information. And it needs to be out there, especially what you're doing on Clubhouse. You're doing a great job. Your audience is really growing.
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. So I can be reached at smartfunnysingle.com. And I do dating coaching packages. I help people write their bios for online dating apps. And I do one-on-one matchmaking for people. So I now have a national database. So if someone comes to me, let's say that they live in Poughkeepsie, they can say, Lori, I need for you to find someone for me in Poughkeepsie. I can now reach out to my matchmaking network and find someone for them in Poughkeepsie. So
that's huge. Congratulations.
Thank you. Biloxi might be another story, but Poughkeepsie, I think we could be able to handle. So yeah, it's great. Thank you.
When we first started the show, you were strictly doing right where you
Milwaukee.
are.
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm nationwide. Yeah, spreading that reach with the help of Clubhouse.
Yay, yeah. Clubhouse. Yeah. And again, we're not paid sponsors for Clubhouse.
I know.
This is the strangest thing. So my computer is on a stand. I mean, it's a big, heavy stand, and somehow it keeps moving. So you can see where the green screen isn't touching. Like I'm not doing anything, and it keeps moving by itself. So you see like the white part on my screen.
Oh wait, I'm not. Mine either. Whoa! It's like a Ouija board.
I bet Zinc is moving it. Come on, Zinc.
Yeah, Zinc walked away. He's getting a little scared.
He's Roberta, I'm wondering if there's anything that you want to share, anything you want to promote, anything that you'd like to have an ask or something you'd like to give to our audience.
You know what? Just that young women need to do what they want. Follow your passion, and don't let somebody tell you that you can't do something because you're a woman. Follow your passion and do it, well because you can. And I know that there's brilliance everywhere, and we need to recognize that, and we all need to help give these young women a leg up. So thank you both so much.
Thank you. It was an absolute pleasure meeting you. Thanks for being on the show. You two are going to catch up later, I'm sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
we will. She's going to be in big trouble. No, I'm kidding. We will. Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn.
Thanks, Roberta. Bye-bye. Lori, so it was great seeing you. I look forward to seeing you over the weekend. I've started a new clubhouse room also, and it's called, I don't know what it's called. I think it's called Connection. It's Connect and Mingle, Meet and Greet. So it's actually a music room, and House Radio from Clubhouse, which is actually John Cataldi. He and I are going to be mods in the room. And then we've invited Lori Ann Speed, who is a pianist, and she's in Vancouver. And she joined us. I think we did it Wednesday night. So it was a music room where every 2 or 3 songs you're hearing music, then we open up the stage for 2 people or 3 people to tell us in 30 seconds something that we don't know about them by reading their bio. And we had a nice showing. So we're doing that every Wednesday at 8 p.m. And then in addition, I met a woman on Clubhouse. Her name is Azadeh. She is a singer, and her tagline is Azadeh sings anywhere, anytime. So she and I are doing a show here on this platform called It's Your Show, which is a place where people can come and perform. So it's a 40-minute show, and 32 minutes of the 40 minutes is you performing. Maybe you're going to dance. Maybe you're going to do comedy. Maybe you wrote a book and you're going to read from it. Maybe you're going to do juggling, hula hoops, whatever it is. We don't interrupt you. You take your 32 minutes and you do your thing. So she and I have a room that we're starting next week, also on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And it's called, I don't know what it's called, but the bottom line, because I didn't put it on there yet on Clubhouse, the bottom line is it's a place where you come and sing the song that you sing in the shower. So you can, so it's like Under the Shower Networking, or I'm not going to have that title. No, it's not Under the Shower Networking, but it's networking and then what you sing under the shower.
Wow, so. Jacalyn, I'm telling you, you just kill it with ideas. You know, the fact that you have so many shows and you keep continuing to build more and more and more shows, and now more and more Clubhouse gigs. I don't know when you're eating. I don't know when you're sleeping. You probably have all this energy because you're not writing your book. You know, you've completed that. But I mean, there's like nothing that you haven't thought of.
Thank you.
You're amazing. Just amazing.
Thank you. I do have a disclosure about the book. So the book is finished and it's with an editor. And the funny thing is that yesterday on our platform, A Better You, Lessons from the Best Coaches, Consultants, and Trusted Advisors, we had an author and publisher on. His name is James L. Hill. And he gave a lesson to new authors about things not to do, things to do. So one of the things he mentioned was to make sure that there aren't any plot, P-L-O-T, holes, H-O-L-E-S, in your story. And I started thinking about it. I was like, And he also said, make sure that if you have little vignettes in your book, which I do, that there's some tangent that ties everything together. So I contacted the gentleman who's working on the book, and he said, well, I didn't want to say anything, but
it's not quite done yet.
He said, you need things to tie it together. So we have a meeting on Monday, and I think we're going to be able to knock it out pretty quickly because he's on top of it. And to your point, I do all of my work for Clubhouse and for this platform on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays so that my mom doesn't have to stay in her room for any more time than she does.
She's not in jail.
She's in Jackie jail down there. So, but anyway, thanks for letting me share that. And I just, as we close out the show, it's been a great week, great co-hosts, great guests, really wonderful shares, personal shares, professional expertise. I just encourage everyone, if you can, please subscribe to Dr. Jacalyn LLC on YouTube. All of our shows are there. I did a terrible job setting up the YouTube channel. I posted initially everything with my picture and Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. No one cares about Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn or my picture. So I have gone back. I updated 90 thumbnails, And now I'm in the process of updating the description after the show's already aired so that I can have all the content when people are searching on YouTube. So this is what I'm doing on Sundays. So
wait, have you heard of this thing called a virtual assistant?
I have, but the problem is I actually have, like, I'm on this platform and I forget the name, Academia or Academia, where you have virtual assistants, but I still would have to take all the time to go over everything with them about what I need done. So I'm just doing it myself. But the point is, if you go to the YouTube channel and you look at the last, I think 3 weeks, I've gotten it together a little bit more that you can actually find content. So people will be able to find this show now. And the other thing I want to announce is that my website, we were moving over to WordPress. I hired someone and it's taking a little longer. So I went to the website to GoDaddy, where my site is hosted, and I made the changes myself. So I now am a web designer and
Captain, wait, are you going on an architectural dig? Are you going on an archaeological dig next? May I ask you?
Maybe, I don't know. Listen, a shout out to Jeff Nishwish, because we're shaking it up here with the Nishwish group. But I'm all about learning. I like to learn, and I find that it keeps me, like, my curiosity is helping me in a lot of ways. And if you're like, look at what you're doing, look how you expanded, and look how the computer moved again. Do you see that? It moved again. You're expanding. You're expanding your reach with your business and also with Clubhouse. So I think that's amazing. It makes you more. It makes you more interesting.
Yeah, you can't stop learning, because when you stop learning, two things. I always say this: when you stop learning, when you stop moving, you die, because your brain goes to mush and your body goes to, and we don't want that to happen. We want to remain vital in every single possible way that we can, mentally, physically, and let's not forget emotionally.
Emotionally, that's huge.
Yeah.
One more thing I want to share before we go is I just want to let people know about the shows coming up next week, because we do have 2 new shows, I think. So our shows, again, they're only Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that's where, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, go to YouTube and subscribe to Dr. Jacalyn LLC to see all of our content. So our first show is called Celebrating Britain, Royally Rich Edition. And this is with the voice of London, the royal commentator, the royal photographer for the British royal family. And his name is Ian Pelham Turner. And so he and I are going to be doing this show together. I actually looked on Google and YouTube to find his content, and he has between 1 and 5 billion, that's with a B, billion people following him.
Wow. Score, Dr. Jacalyn.
He's going to be on our platform, and we're going to be talking all about Great Britain. And he has guests that are A-level celebrities, and we're going to learn that London is and Great Britain is multicultural. There's all kinds of great things going on there. So that's the show at 10:30. 12 o'clock is the Underdog Show with Ben Chai, who's an international celebrity. And he's bringing great guests, people who truly have overcome impossible to believe things. So please join us for that at noon Eastern time. 2 o'clock is the Business Show with rock star Al Cini, my business partner. He's also the producer of our content, and he's the producer of the commercials, a lot of the commercials that you see, not all of them, obviously. And then at 4 o'clock, we have a Better You. So we'd love for you to sign up for a Better You. This is where you get 15 minutes to make a presentation. And then we ask you to come up with a 5-question quiz. We package those things together after editing. You can do the editing yourself, or you can hire us. And then we form a playlist of lessons. So I'm thinking 10 lessons for each content creator, and we put it up on a Better You University for sale. And so you as a content creator have a passive income stream coming in. You may already have content that just, make it bite-sized learning. We've got gamification on the platform, and we also are developing a rewards and recognition program. So that's at 4 o'clock. And then 5 o'clock is the Clubhouse room, which I told you about. And then at 7 o'clock is In the Name of Love with Kimmy Seltzer. So that's a new show. And at 8 o'clock is the clubhouse room I told you about with the shower, under the shower. Thursday, it's Your Stage at 12:30 with Azadeh from Paris. And again, if you are a performer, if you have some talent that you want to share, it's your stage. We give you the platform and go for it. So that's 12:30. 2 o'clock, hello Zinc. We have A Better You, Lessons from the Best. And then at 4 o'clock, we have It's All About Dating with co-host Lisa Manioki. 6 o'clock, we have A Better You. We have 3 A Better Yous a week. This way we can get 6 people to get their playlist built. Then on Friday, starting at 12 o'clock, we have Fashion, Fitness, Travel, and Leisure with co-host Diane Floyd-Bain. Then at 1:30, I have a story to tell. Then at 3:30, Pet Psychic Amina and her guests. And then at 5 o'clock, we have Stories of Hope, Inspiration, Overcoming Adversity. And 6 o'clock, it's the variety show. And I am complete.
And I'm going to leave quietly.
Yes, I'm leaving quietly too. Thank you so much for
Bye,
being here.
Jacalyn.
Yes, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
you too.
Bye, everyone.
everyone.